Hey guys, I am super excited to bring to you a podcast that I was on a while back called the John Matthews Audio Experience, where John and I sat down and discussed the Game of Life, which is an acronym for gratitude, attitude, mindset, and enjoy. It really was a great time and feel like it's great information to get out there to you, so hope you enjoy it.
I'm here with Dave Ross, Chief Operating Officer of Hillcrest Food Service. That would be COO. Welcome, Dave. Welcome to the podcast.
I'm super excited to be here. Thanks, John.
Well, the reason why I have you here, Dave, is a few months ago, you dropped what I'll call a mini-series of videos called The Game of Life, which, by the way, has nothing to do with the Hasbro board Game of Life?
No.
No? Okay. So GAME being an acronym, what is that acronym? What's this about?
Yeah, so the Game of Life was something that was actually, I would love to say I came up with this, but it was actually given to me by one of my best friends and successful guy in Cleveland who, basically broke it down into, the game being four letters, G.A.M.E, okay, which the G being gratitude, the A meaning attitude, M is mindset, and then E would be enjoy. So, and then there's some, obviously we can get into more detail what those mean individually, but that's the essence of it.
Okay, so this is something for business, this is something for personal self-development. What would you say that this would be used for?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, okay.
No, yeah, this is as I've thought more about this and talked about it and had conversations with people, it truly is the game of life, which is everything. It's your personal life, it's your professional life, it encompasses every aspect.
Okay, well, let's get into it. You said the first one is G, that's gratitude.
Correct.
Tell me about that.
So gratitude, really, the interesting thing about this acronym is when you really think about each one, and as we start talking about them, people will realize what I'm saying, but they all build on each other, and it actually encompasses one total, attitude and mindset. So, but gratitude, obviously the thoughts of being grateful, of having a lot of gratitude for life, it's the foundation of this game of life. And there's been, the best way I can put it is there's been some research by a really small, unsuccessful university called Harvard that they did some research on, a bunch of people. They took them and they basically broke them up into three groups. And what they did was they had one group this was a 10-week study, okay? So for one group, what they did daily was they wrote down things that they were grateful for, and they focused on being grateful and being thankful for life and gratitude and things that happened to them, and they wrote down like what happened in that day that they're grateful for, and they did it every day for 10 weeks. Then they had a second group that wrote everything that irritated them, okay? So everything that bothered them, everything that was annoying, all those things, and they wrote that down for 10 weeks every day. And then they had a third group that they just wrote what happened today with no semblance of like, was it positive, negative? They just wrote down this is what happened. It was just very, just straightforward. And they found out that after that 10-week study, they did some happiness scores and some other things in the study. They found out these people that focused on gratitude for these 10 weeks, had higher happiness scores. They had better attitude scores. They slept better. They actually worked out more in that 10-week period. They had less physician's visits. So they actually found out that this in this 10-week study, these people that exhibited gratitude actually had way better, life than the ones that
more healthy, more
correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this: what is the opposite? What would you say the opposite of gratitude is?
The opposite of gratitude. That's a good question. The opposite of gratitude would just be, I guess, would be to be ungrateful. It would just be to not recognize.
Maybe entitlement, thinking that.
Sure. Yeah. I guess it'd be. I don't know.
Would it be in that study, that Harvard study? Would it be those that were writing down those things that irritated them?
Sure. Yeah. I would think so. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about having a thought process of the negative things that happen to you rather than the positive things that happen to you. You're typically not grateful for something negative.
So gratitude, being grateful. We're here first thing in the morning. So I'm sure you've had some things even this morning. What would you say you're grateful for this morning?
Waking up.
Waking up, life.
Just as easy.
I mean,
as simple as
that is very simple, and it's very true. There's a lot of people that wake up and they're dreadful that they had to even wake up.
Right.
So just being able to wake up. So gratitude. Now you move from gratitude into the A of the game, which is attitude. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so attitude is probably something that people are more familiar with, and whether they practice it or not. But attitude really is, having, there's really cut and dry two different attitudes you can have, positive or negative. Okay, can we agree on that?
Right.
So
Yes.
attitude in this obviously is to have a positive attitude, and have an attitude that looks at the positive. Okay, but the most interesting thing I think with attitude is really how you control it. Okay, or how you can control it. We could spend all day if you've got negativity towards something, or you have an attitude that's more on the negative side. Like me sitting over here, I can't do anything to you to change that. Okay, now I can have a conversation with you. I could, talk to you a little bit, and maybe your mindset or attitude would change based on our conversation. But that's a decision you made. Okay,
Right.
So I think when you realize that you 100% control your attitude and how you look at things, that's when you really gain control of your life and control of the game.
Now, you had mentioned in the very beginning that this is this game of life, gratitude, attitude, mindset, and enjoy, that it, I don't know if the word's compound, but it goes from one right into the next. So how does gratitude affect your attitude?
Well, when you're focused and you're grateful on the things that you have in your life, big or small, that's going to directly affect the way you look at life and your attitude. Okay, to have that they kind of go together really. But why I say attitude is more, people understand that because it's talked about more. Where gratitude is typically something that it's talked about over Thanksgiving. What are we grateful for? What are we,
Right.
I mean? And it's like, and that annoys me. I mean, that really I get, I don't know. I did another.
Why are you not grateful all year long? Why
know,
is
it's
it just
why?
Thanksgiving?
I know. We sit around our table. Let's talk about what we're thankful for. It's like we should be doing that every dinner.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Not
Exactly.
just on the holiday. So I actually did a little bit of a video where I was a little agitated with that thought process, and I'm like, cut it out. All this stuff on social media, like well, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. You should be doing that every day.
Right. Exactly.
But so I got off a little tangent there. But anyhow, but it all feeds into it. So that gratefulness and that thought process of being grateful, feeds directly into a positive attitude.
Okay, awesome. If you don't have the gratitude, does that tend more towards the negative attitudes?
I think it can. I don't think it's exclusive. I think that you can have a positive attitude and maybe not have a focus on gratitude as much. I think that can exist.
I guess that would be the key, the focus on gratitude.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, you can be a positive person, look at the positive, but if you're not sitting down on a daily or weekly basis and really thinking through the things in your life that you're grateful for, like that's the next level. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't think that, just because you don't maybe focus on gratitude that you can have that automatically makes you a negative person or a negative attitude. I don't believe that,
Okay.
But that's why they're two separate, things.
So it just increases your experience, if your life experience, because this is the game of life.
Correct.
It just betters that life experience if you do have the gratitude and you compound it with the positive attitude.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that gratitude will multiply that attitude.
Okay.
It's the same as people say money is the root of all evil. I believe that money is just a great multiplier. You know what I mean? So if you're a bad person with a lot of money, you're probably going to do worse things. If you're a good person with a lot of money, you're probably going to do good things. You know what I mean? So you can look at gratitude the same way. Like you can have a good attitude, but gratitude's only going to exemplify that.
However, I will say it's not money is the root of all evil. It is the love of money that is the root of all evil.
Okay.
Money can do very good things, so just want clarification on that.
Yeah,
there.
no, I can appreciate that. Yeah.
So, okay, and from attitude, we move into mindset. Tell me about that.
So mindset really it's truly the culmination of gratefulness, your gratitude, and your attitude. So what a mindset is a collection of beliefs and thoughts and attitudes, that you carry. Okay, so mindset really is kind of like if you could take G plus A equals M, really. You know what I mean? So your gratefulness and your gratitude and your attitude really set your mind for what you're focused on. So the best way that I can describe it is that if I asked you to go out, we're in Akron here right now, and in Akron, Ohio, and I asked you to go out to the street and just watch traffic for a while, and I want you to report back to me over a half-hour period how many black cars you saw driving down the street. So you're going to sit there for that 30 minutes, and you're going to watch, and you might see, some sedans, you might see a couple sports cars, you might see some vans, trucks, different things, and you're counting the black cars. And then, you come back in, and I say, John, that's great. You're watching black cars. How many red cars went by?
I'd be like, you didn't ask me to ask for look for red cars.
Exactly.
What do you mean?
So what happened?
I wasn't looking for them.
Exactly. So I set your mind up to look for black, right? To look for black cars.
Right.
So you weren't paying attention to red. Okay. So when you look at mindset in your mind like that, so if you've got a positive attitude, you're grateful, you're focused on positive, you're focused on solutions, not problems, you're focused on positive, not negative.
You're not going to see the negative.
Exactly. So that's really when you take gratitude plus your attitude, that gets to your mindset to where you're focused on those things. You're focused on positive. You're focused on growth. You're focused on the good things in your life. Those other things fall to the wayside.
So then what you're telling me is with the mindset, the combination of your gratitude and the attitude, if your mindset is focused on the positive and you're always looking for the positive, then chances are pretty good that you're going to get positive. Whereas if your mindset is focused on the negative and woe is me and I can't believe every time I get on the freeway I get cut off, or every time I get to work this lady's telling me this, that, and the other. If it's focused on the negative and that's what you're constantly thinking about, then you're going to end up with negative.
Correct. Yeah. What you're focused on is what you're going to get. And that's what it comes down to. So having a conscious effort to show gratefulness, to be grateful for things, having a positive attitude, that's setting your mind for everything. That's and in the mindset that you can accomplish anything you set your mind to. Is another part of that.
Right.
When you're, if you're always looking for. You're always going to get what you're looking for. That's the easiest way to put it. So if you're looking for positive, you're looking for success, you're looking for all those things, that's what you're going to find.
I've heard the statement or the philosophy that what you think about is what you become. Now, actually, with me, that'd mean I'd become a pepperoni pizza. But besides that, so what you think about is what you become.
Yeah.
And I believe that. And what you're saying is this game of life is saying that same thing.
Correct.
If you're thinking about what you're grateful for, if you're thinking about the positive, if you're thinking in those terms, then that's what the end result it will be. It's the old computer terminology, garbage in, garbage out, good in, good out.
Correct.
Okay, so you have all of that. You have your gratitude, you have your attitude checked and in line, you have your mindset to the point to where you're looking at the positive, you're looking at the reasons you're grateful, you're looking at what your future is looking like. Where does enjoy come into this?
Well, enjoy really is the culmination of the other three. So enjoy really, when you've got your gratitude right, your attitude right, your mindset right, I feel you can successfully enjoy life. So enjoyment being the culmination of those three, and then also what you have around you as far as the people you have around you. Okay, because I think that dictates a lot of how you can enjoy life and how you can, because we got to have fun. I think that sometimes we can take life too seriously. We take situations too seriously. I think that, when you've got those three things in line, you can truly enjoy and have fun and be lighthearted when you need to be lighthearted and play hard when you need to play hard and really enjoy life to the fullest when you have those three things in line.
Okay, now, you had mentioned the people around you. You can enjoy the people around you. Mm-hmm. What if my listener, the people around him or her, are constantly negative? How can you enjoy that even if you've got the gratitude, attitude, mindset? Or do you need to change something?
Well, potentially, and so that's when you're going to move into another level, that I'll call the circle of five, and I'll talk about that in a second. But what I wanted to say on that is that when you start, let's say if you haven't been ungrateful, but you haven't focused on gratitude, okay? And you decide after listening to this, I'm going to start focusing on gratitude, okay? And that's going to
Right.
affect your attitude, okay? And then that's going to affect your mindset, okay? And then that's going to allow you to enjoy life to the fullest. What you're going to find in the people that are around you, as you start improving, you're going to find out, are those people in line with that or are they not? You know what I mean? Because as you become more cognizant and more focused on those things, you're going to notice that people around you are like, man, you know, I used to hang out with Frank a lot. He's not as fun to hang out with anymore because
Right.
Frank's complaining about his wife or complaining about his job or having issues and always looking at the negative. And you might not have realized it before, but when you start getting yourself in line, you will realize the people around
So-
you. It's
so
gonna-
what
it's
you're
gonna
saying
come,
is-
it's going to come out. I mean, you're going to see it.
So what you're saying is this isn't something that you just get up in the morning and say, you get up in the morning and you say, okay, I'm going to have gratitude, I'm going to have the right attitude, I'm going to have the right mindset, and then you just go on with your day. You're saying that this is something that you need to be focused on, constantly focused on the gratitude, looking for those things that you're grateful for, constantly focused on the attitude, checking it.
Right.
Because, you know, Dave, things happen in the middle of the day that could check that attitude the wrong direction.
Absolutely.
So, but it's your choice, as you'd mentioned earlier in the conversation. You can't affect my attitude. I can't affect your attitude. It's a choice of the individual as to what their attitude's going to be.
Well, I can affect your attitude, but only if you allow me. You know, you're the only one that can change it. I can
Right.
affect it. I mean, I could poke you or push you, and that could make you feel, you know, something towards your attitude. You know what I mean? But you decided to react. You decided to
So it's
take that
it's the
interaction
difference
and-
between reacting and responding. I mean, reacting is just responding is, you know, checking yourself.
Sure.
And yes, you can attempt to affect my attitude, but again, as you mentioned, it's only if I allow you to do that. So that was getting off on attitude and the effect,
Yeah,
but
sure,
but
yeah.
but the idea of focusing on each of these, all four of them, really, your gratitude, your attitude, your mindset, your enjoy. Some people would actually, and here off on a tangent again, some people would say, that's great. I can have the gratitude, the attitude, and the mindset after I leave work because I'm not really enjoying the work I'm doing. What would you say to that person?
Stop doing it.
Just stop doing the work
Well,
you're
you
doing.
got to have a plan. Listen, I
Right.
mean, everybody's situation is different, and I'm not here to say that I have the answers for everybody. But if you're constantly going through something in your life that's unenjoyable and that it creates a negative environment and isn't good and drags you down, get out of it. Figure out how to get out of it. You know, if you have the ability to do it right now and do it and then figure life out, or if you have to figure out a plan and you're going to say, okay, it's going to take me a few years or a couple months or whatever it is to get out of that situation, you have to do it. Like, life is too short to let things affect you in a negative manner and let things bring you down.
So
in these parts
all
of your
all
life.
of this is getting to the gratitude, attitude, mindset is getting to the point of enjoy. So that would you say that the culmination of that is just happiness?
Absolutely.
So what you're saying in the aspect of if somebody is doing something that they don't like, that is deterring their happiness. So you need to move in a direction, because I mean, I don't know about you, I just want to be happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the interviews that I'm doing, the podcasts that I put out, it's all, the underlying theme is just optimism, positivity, and really key is happiness.
Yeah.
And so that, again, that's why I brought you on. When I seen your little mini series on LinkedIn talking about gratitude, because I know I never put a marker on it and said, okay, this is the game. Okay, this is the game. I need to focus on my gratitude. I need to focus on my attitude. I need to. It's just, in my life, it's something that over the course of time, not that it just came naturally, I was born that way, but over the course of time, I've developed a sense of gratitude. I've developed a positive attitude that there's not too many things going to get me down. I've developed a mindset that really says, I control my life, I control my attitude, I control my thought process. Mm-hmm. So with all that, I found that I pretty much enjoy my life.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
And I think
So you're saying that people can focus on these things and get to that point as well.
No question, yeah. And I think, and I'm not saying this is all encompassing of everything, but this is what I've done, and I've coached and seen other people go through this. This works. You know what I mean? And I think, just to go back real quick, and sorry to interrupt, but you mentioned you've developed this over time. You've developed gratefulness. You've developed an attitude. You've developed a mindset, and all those things. It's progress. Okay, it's not perfection. We're not born into this world where we've got this, set ready to go. Like we're born, and we're sponges, and we take the environment in, and we do these things, and hopefully we had positive influence from parents and family, and then friends as we're growing up, and coworkers and things like that. But I always go back to, you don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean? So if you
Right.
grew up in a negative environment, and that's what you grew up in, and that's where you end up, that may not be your fault at this point. You know what I mean? But it is your fault to allow it to keep going. Okay, and you need to develop these things
Nice. Yes.
to get going in the right direction. You know what I mean? Like where you're at may not be your fault, but if you stay there, it is. You know what I mean? So I think that that's some hard truth for some people that may be struggling in life and maybe not enjoy and love where they're at. I mean, it's on you. There's nobody else that can change it.
Okay, let me ask you this. Do you have anything else that you want to cover as far as the game of life, the circle of five? Is there anything maybe that we've missed that I haven't asked that you'd like to bring out?
Yeah. I guess the only other thing I would want to add is, if we go back to the beginning, we go back to the gratitude, and somebody's listening to this and they're thinking, like, this all sounds great, but what the heck do I do? Okay, I just want to give a couple things to get you started, because I think if you start focusing on gratitude, like, the rest of this is going to fall into line.
Okay.
It's really, and then there's a reason why it's first. So as far as gratitude goes, there's a couple things. If you find yourself struggling to focus on it, start a gratitude journal. So all that's going to be is, it's going to be, a notepad like this, or you could have something more fancy, whatever it is. And I would sit it next to your bed, on your bedstand, on your nightstand. And before you go to bed, spend 5 minutes jotting down 3 things you're grateful for that day. Okay, that has things that happened to you that day, and just jot down 3 things that you're grateful for. And
Well, let me ask you this, though. Somebody who is embedded into negativity on a constant, give me an example of something that I could be grateful for when I'm looking around me and everything seems to be negative.
well, you got to change your
One of the 3,
Well, you have to change your focus, because you're telling me right now you've got to focus on the negative.
Right.
Okay? When you say that everything seems to be negative.
Exactly.
But it's not. I mean, listen, we live in the greatest country ever created, and we live in a time in the greatest country. It's the greatest of all time. I mean, there's so many things that are flying at us from the media and everything, that always look at negativity, and that's what sells and everything. But when you look at everything, when you look at when you look at health and safety and income and all the things that we have in this country, I mean, it is unbelievable what we've got here. And if you live here, you have to be grateful. Thank you for listening to Restaurantopia. The gratitude that we have for each and every one of you spending your precious time to listen to this podcast is immeasurable. Please make sure to tell a friend about this podcast. And also, if you have any feedback for us, visit us on restaurantopia.com and drop us a line. You can also subscribe on your favorite place to listen to podcasts. Thank you, and have a great day.